What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thank you, everybody, for supporting. But this video, though, is entitled, Can You Buy Black for 48 Hours? I was watching Killer Mike's Trigger Warning. The Trigger Warning with Killer Mike on Netflix. And one of the first episodes was, he was going to buy and live completely black economically for 3 days. And he couldn't do it. He did it, but it was a horrific experience to a degree. In Atlanta, he couldn't drive, but he was going to Athens. He could eat in Atlanta, but he had to go to the Nation of Islam's grocery store, and because they actually have a black farm, so he had to go to WeBuyBlack.com to get toilet paper and stuff like that. So he can take care of his that part. He could do that for 3 days if he was in Atlanta. But here's the problem. His only means of transportation was technically a bike, because he had to buy it from a black-owned bike shop. So to get around, he was either walking or riding a bike. You can go to restaurants to a degree, but he had to ask the restaurant, where do you get your food from? Do you get it from a black farm? That didn't go so well, And the thing about it was to see how far we as black people have regressed since segregation. Because to a degree, the show was a bit extreme because it had to be black and black affiliated. But what Killer Mike didn't take into consideration is how much blackness is integrated into became American society. Like that, I think that was Richard Spencer. I might be wrong. He was on one of his YouTube videos sitting in an Asian restaurant with an Asian guy, and he was letting them know, he wants America to be, it's American. Everybody else is not kind of welcome. I don't want it to be inclusionary. But that might not have been Richard Spencer. That might have been somebody else. But I do remember Richard Spencer talking about, what's American. Hamburgers are American. Tacos are American. Chinese food is American. Fried chicken is American. And ribs are American. That's all American cuisine. And the dude was like, no, that's actually other people's cultures that you're just claiming to be American now. Yeah, but it's American now. And that's the thing. It was because he got to Athens and he had to sleep on the bench. And he was like, look, well, my people built this country, so, I mean, who can say that this city ain't here, is here because of my people, so it ain't a crime to be on the bench. Got up, it rained. Didn't have an umbrella, Matter of fact, let's go back a little bit. To get to Athens, he had to get a charter bus that was owned by a black-owned driver. If I was him, I would have just kept the charter bus parked somewhere and stayed on the bus the whole doggone time instead of walking around Athens like that. And he liked to smoke weed. He couldn't find all his weed people were affiliated with white America, which is ironic because, it shined a light on even if you want to get high, that's not a black that's not a black business. You get what I'm saying? Even buying illegal drugs, you can't do that without going through white people, right? Even though we're the face of it. So, because of that show, it spawned me to think about this. I was on my phone looking at stuff, looking at WeBuyBlack.com, uh, looking at what is it? And I ain't gonna say your name because then I'll get people looking for you on this thing. So, but you know who you are. You had me looking at on Facebook. They have the African American Collegiate clothing line, and that's actually owned by a black man now. And you know that's part of the problem. So I was looking up their stuff and their clothing, and I'm looking for it right now as we speak. That's why my head's down. What winds up happening is, and so I looked into other things. You know, there we go. African American College Allegiance clothing. This, you know, it's actually owned by a black person now. But that's the thing. When you shop, when I looked at the prices, I was like, you know what, brother's gonna trip because of how expensive a hoodie is. You know. But then I went on WeBuyABlack.com and I was looking at the prices and I'm like, okay, that's dope. And I started thinking of something else Killer Mike said. We're addicted to the white economy. Because even if we can buy black, we look at our own stuff as inferior to a degree. You know, we don't, you know, it always needs to be like white folks for us to accept it. Mind you, a lot of the things that they have that look so great are because of us in the first place. So instead of saying, you know what, you can't, how can I say this? Instead of saying it, you don't make it the same way the white folks make it. Because even, okay, put it like this. Even if white people make something and it's halfway done, it's acceptable. It's acceptable. Because, oh, they're trying to get it together. You know. And that was the problem. If we do it and we're trying to get it together, we're unprofessional. We're not real entrepreneurs. We're just screwing up stuff, right? And I gotta show this. You know, Figures Phones, right? See this right here? This was on the show. This is a black-owned company, phones and whatnot, right? So that's a great thing. So he could use a phone because he could use their phones, right? We have our own phone. We have a company that has our own phone, and now, you know, I started thinking about it like, okay, more and more we have to promote ourselves and whatnot. So can you do it for 48 hours? Can everything you wear, you know, eat, use can be black owned and operated? And even with the show, I can't say no completely. Depends on what city you're in. If you're in a major metropolitan city, you probably can figure out a way. Because remember they had the black lady who wrote the book about, you know, living black economically for like a year, and she had to go out of her way and this, that, and the third, but she did it. I think that was Chicago. So it's definitely possible, I think, in all major cities, you know, from L.A. all the way to New York, you know. But for the people who are in the smaller towns, I think that's a problem. And to a degree, this is what people argue about in America. Oh, you're not building anything. The problem isn't that we haven't built anything. The problem is we built everything in segregation and we got desegregated because we didn't get integrated, because we're not integrated to American society, as you can see. We got desegregated out of our stuff. And the thing about that is this. Because I come from one of those families where our land was stolen. So some of what's going on is people are profiting off of stolen materials, just like, you know, beyond like stealing the country and slavery and all that other stuff. That's the problem, you know. You know, there's a white family right now in Louisiana, right now, who swears to God they're rich from the sweat of their own back when they're on land that my family owns. They got stolen, and all the white people's like, "It's ours now, Jim Bob. Run the niggas out of town. Kill them if you have to. We worked hard for this." I'm dead serious. You know. And I don't want to hear people who are non-blacks apologize like, that's fucked up. Because probably your family's the same way. You know. So even some of the benefits you've got in life came from that type of thing. But can we buy black for 48 hours is the thing. And we got to start somewhere. Maybe you could do it for 24, and then you could do it for 48. Or you could just, you know, how many black-owned items do you have in your life and in your home? We have to contribute to our own economy, you know. If we're going to buy a product and it's not necessarily black-owned, it has to be created by a black person. You get what I'm saying? Like when people was buying at either the Cadillac or the Chrysler 300, it was I think it was designed by a brother. So, you know, that counts. Yes, other people are going to benefit, but, you know, we're not going to buy things that our people don't have a hand in creating. You get what I'm saying? So it let us know how far behind we are compared to everybody else. But it also let me know something about the way society is set up. See, this is why it's set up this way, because Killer Mike's partner in Run the Jewels was cracking up inside. He was like, I was in a hotel in Lobster last night. He just like, you know what? I'm sorry, his trolling was epic. It was epic. Yeah, so right, that's that white privilege. Man, I had to crack up, man. He was getting with that. Can you? Because they went to a barbecue spot, and Killer Mike was about to eat, and he said, "Do you know if this meat was from a black farm?" And Mike had to ask, and the guy said, "No." He had to put it down. And he picked up that. Mike, these are the best ribs I've had in my entire life. I was like, "Oh man, you a gangster." I'm sorry, he had me rolling, but this is what we go through in real life, right? You know, but to a degree, this part of, you know, the setup in America, you know, checkmating the system, but to a degree, it's not really checkmated, because we forget one thing: this country is so far in debt. See, part of integration and taking credit for things that we've done, and all these other groups piling in and using us as a stepping stone for their economic come up, and by using racism and whatnot and the caste system. All of this debt that's owed, that's on all of them. That ain't on us. You know, like even though all it seems like all these other groups form like Voltron to hate us collectively, they all, you know good and well when it comes down to the money, we don't owe them. Even if they wanted to turn collectively and try to kill us all, they'll still owe each other because we don't owe them. You know, which thus would mean they're going to have to go kill each other. Because if you take us out of the equation, it still ain't our fault, and you still got to go get it from somebody else. And you're going to still want what's due to you. And this is the thing about us. We understand in this country now, you know, it's time to play ball. Our way, not their way. So we out. Peace.